It's Monday morning, and this is the face of a guy that is not even close to being thrilled about going mowing today. It is 7:30. I'm dirty. I just changed the blades out on the V-Ride. But it's gonna be 87 to 90 today with very high humidity, is what it is. But I have, let's see, there's not a lot amount wise. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lawns to do today. The first one, 1.5 acres. Second one, 3/4 of an acre. Third one, 2.5 acres. Fourth one, 3 acres. The fifth and sixth one right across the street from each other, 1/4 acre apiece. The next one is about 1/2 acre. The next one, 3 acres. The next one, 1/2 acre. Next one, a little over 1/4 of an acre. The next one, 4 acres. The last one, 4 acres. In between there, I have one more that's a small city lot with a lot of overgrown sidewalks, things like that. He's just a guy I know that he needs someone to mow it for a month. But then after all that, I have hedges to go trim. Doesn't really sound too much, right? Not a bad day, not a bad Monday. Yeah, it's a lot of big properties when you're by yourself. Billy's in school, and I only have Max Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. And I'll tell you one thing's for sure right now. I either have to just suck it up and get through the next 2-3 weeks, I think it is, till Billy gets out of school and he's with me every day, and then I have Max whatever days he's available, or I need to find somebody to help me on the days I don't have Max or I don't have Billy, because it's a lot this year. And everyone knows I'm not afraid of hard work, and I will take on more and more and more, and I'll just suck it up and get right through it. But it's really kicking my hind end this year. Getting old. No, it's just, it's heat and there's a lot. And, you know, some guys would just whip right through them and knock them out and wouldn't be no big deal. But, you know, it doesn't matter how hot it is or how behind I am. I'm picky, and they still have to look right before I leave. So I take that extra time, that extra work, and do what I got to do. Let's just go. It's Monday. Well, I didn't film any mowing today. There's just so much to do and so many huge properties. And it's 6:15 right now. So it's hedge trimming time. But this set of hedges, she has me trim it once a month, all summer long, whether it needs it or not. She has me do it, which is no big deal. It's super easy to do. I haven't trimmed it yet this year. I was supposed to trim it like 3 weeks ago. That hasn't happened, obviously. I've just been so behind, and she's like, whatever, whenever you can get to it. And this is it. This is my first chance to get to it, which I didn't even plan on doing it today. It's just, she got to the point where she was texting me and saying, are you sure you're going to be able to do them this year? So, you know, I had to get them done, knock them out. Definitely not the day that I felt like doing them, but I know there's a million different ways to trim hedges, and the way that I'm doing them might not be how some people do them. But it's how she likes them, so I don't know. I guess it's kind of a back and forth thing. It's, do you trim the hedges the way that you think they should be done, or do you do them the way the customer wants them? What I do on any hedge trimming job, I advise the customer of how certain bushes, hedges, except plants, etc. should be trimmed. I tell them how they should be done and how I would do them. And then if they tell me go ahead, I do them my way. If they say, well, I really like them like this, then they're paying. I do them how they want. Whether it'll shorten the length of the life on the bush, well, that's on them. I do what they want, and they're the ones paying me, so it's whatever they want, that's what they get. So this this is how I trim these up. This is how she likes it, and yeah, right or wrong, my way, your way, whatever. They're still really healthy. They're in great shape, and trimming them the same exact way all last year. Last year was the first year I did them. Trimming them the same way all last year. They've turned out perfectly fine. So they're nice and healthy still. So it is what it is. It's 6:15. I'm ready to just be done with this day. Tomorrow I am by myself again all day, but no extra lawns tomorrow. I had some extras today. I have a couple really big ones, but nothing too crazy. I've pretty much been mowing most Tuesdays by myself this year anyway, so I got a system down. Shouldn't be too bad, but then I have Max Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, which would be great, because Wednesday, none of them are real big on Wednesday. I have 3 really big ones, but there's 21 lawns on Wednesday, I think, or 22, and most of them are all small cookie cutter houses, and I have a lot of areas where I park and do 2, 3, sometimes 4 houses in a row, so it's going to be really nice to have Max tomorrow for that, or not tomorrow, Wednesday. So that's that. This is my Monday wrapped up. It's I'll be home before too much longer here. This never takes me too long, and time to relax. It was a hot one today. It is Tuesday morning, and it's raining. It rained like all night, and I don't know what time it is. I think it's pretty much going to rain most of the day. I don't know. Some say it's going to stop around 10 or 11. Some say it's going to rain all day. Who knows? But every time we think we're about to hit another drought, it starts raining again. So, hey, it's making the grass grow. But my wife parked her car in front of me, so I had to move her car to get out, and I get in her car, and that thing's like a freaking space. My wife has a 2007 Camry Sport she bought herself as a present when she got her doctorate. Since then, she's bought, well, a few other cars she's gotten rid of, but she also has a 2014 Grand Caravan. She just gave that one to her parents, actually, because she just turned around and bought a 2021 Honda Palisade. That thing's like a spaceship. So I get in this car, and I'm like, you leave the keys in it and you press the button, it starts, that new fancy stuff. So I hit the button and I start it, and all of a sudden the seat starts going forward, and I'm like, oh no, hell no, hell no. It's like crushing my knees to the dash. I'm looking for the button to move the seat back because it automatically goes forward. And then I'm trying to figure out how to get the seat back, and then I move the seat back, and then it's all push button for gears. So it's like reverse, neutral, drive, whatever. So I press D for drive, and I'm like, can we go? Can we go? Are we in gear? I'm trying to figure out how to go forward. I'm like, craziness, absolute craziness.
And
just picked up Billy. I gotta take him to the schoolhouse. We're gonna change your name to Tommy.
Why?
Tommy Two Finger.
2 fingers?
Tommy Two Finger.
Yep.
Look at Billy's fingers all wrapped up. He messed up his fingers yesterday. What were you playing?
Wall ball.
What the hell is wall ball?
Wall ball is the game where, like, everybody's in a group and you throw the ball up, it hits the wall, comes back down, and somebody has to try to catch it. If you catch it, everybody's safe. If you go and it touches any part of your body and then hits the ground, you have to try to run to the wall and touch the wall before somebody else picks up the ball and throws it at the wall and hits the wall.
I'm not sure that's how I would play it.
That's not how we played, though. We throw it at each other instead of hitting the wall.
That's exactly how I would play it. I'd be chucking it at my buddies. Like, if I hit you, you're out, sucker. That's wall ball just turned into dodgeball.
Mm-hmm. And if you want to get back in, if you're out and you want to get back in, you have to stand at the wall, and then we grab another ball, so there's 2 people having a ball, and you have to stand up against the wall with your stomach up against the wall and the back face to everybody, and 2 people throw a ball at you and hit you with the ball. And that's how you get back in.
So you got to take a beating. So it's kind of like gang initiation. You got to take the beat down. Beat in, beat out.
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. Jump in, jump out. I think that's what they call it in the gangs.
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, well, it's raining, like I said, so I'm gonna drop Billy off at the schoolhouse, and I'm gonna go to the shop. And I got Max Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, and so I think Max and I are gonna be playing some catch up tomorrow and maybe even Thursday. So, but I got some shop stuff to do, and I have some ideas that I have to do, some things that I really need to do with the Skag, because I've been having a couple issues with it. So I'm gonna get to the shop, and I believe I can fix that today. The fridge is empty, darn near empty. Time to restock. We're down to just a few protein shakes, 2 Monsters, 1 Powerade. We have a bunch of waters left. But we got a new case of Bang energy drinks, a new thing of Powerade Zero, a new case of water. There, nice and restocked, ready to go. Okay, so on deck, having an issue with this V-Ride 2. Here's my issue. This thing, when I got it last year, used to blow grass out like crazy. Like it wasn't as good as the Grandstand or the Vantage, but it definitely blew grass out like crazy. I'm talking like 2-3 passes away, all right? And now it barely blows 1 over. So I think there's 2 things contributing to that. 1, I don't think this thing is running at the proper RPMs, which is no big deal. It's easy to adjust. There's an adjustment screw. It depends on the machine that you have. Some machines, there's an adjustment screw right in the side. People say you got to mess with the governor, this and that. You got to change the governor plate. You got to move. Down there, there's a little spring that goes, and there's different holes, and you can change that. You don't have to do any of that. They made it way easy. There's actually a screw. It's just a Phillips head screw, and you just adjust it. Clockwise to raise RPM, counterclockwise to bring the RPM down. Now, this Kohler 25 EFI should be running at about 3,700 RPM, okay? So I don't think it's running at the proper RPM. Now, what you do, if I can find it. I haven't had to use it in a while. It's in here somewhere. I thought it was in here somewhere. I have too much stuff. That's the problem. That's what the problem is. See, I have tape measures falling down. It's in here somewhere. I'll find it, and then I'll show you guys how I do it. But anyway, I have a pulse meter, and all you do is you put it up against the spark plug wire while it's running, and it'll read out and tell you exactly what the RPMs are. Now, for these EFI engines, it's going to read half. Okay, so say your RPM you want as at 3,000, the meter will read at 1,500, and then you know you're at the correct 3,000. On a carbureted engine, it'll read out exactly what it is. So say you want it running at 3,000 RPMs, you put it on the spark plug wire, and if it's correct, it'll say 3,000 RPMs, okay? But EFIs are different. It's going to show you half of what it actually is. So you just got to double the number on the meter. Another issue, on the front of these Velocity plus decks, there is a baffle that you can adjust up and down. When I first got this thing last year, it was, I believe, all the way up. And when I put the bagging system on it in the fall to do leaves, I brought the baffle all the way down because that stops all the blowout you get from the front of the deck. Well, I never changed it back after that. So I believe I just got to move that baffle back up, and that'll also change the flow that's coming out of the deck. So those two things. One more thing I'm doing to this today is I'm taking this weight mount off here. It stops you from getting too close to stuff. There's no reason for that to be on there. It's going to be another 4 months before I'm doing leaves, so no need for that to be on there. And this here, I never hit it. I did a few times when we first put it on there. Billy's always smacking his thigh off of it. Max does the same thing. So if it's not too much crap to take apart, I'm going to take this off of there as well, because like I said, another 4 months before I'm bagging system doesn't need to be on there. Then we got this today. It just started doing it about a week ago, and when I drive with it, every once in a while I get a vibration, and it's like toward this side of the machine. I'm praying that a wheel motor or a hydro motor is not going out. It still drives perfectly fine, so I don't think that's an issue. This machine only has 379 hours on it, so I'm praying at 379 hours I'm not losing a wheel motor or hydro motor already. I honestly believe I just have a belt or a pulley issue that controls the hydro drive. I think that's it, so I just got to look at that and address that, see what's going on there. So this is it, engine tachometer. But there's a lot of different versions of this. This one is made by Archer. This was like Archer engine tachometer, and there's the part number, the model number of it. This one's like 110 bucks. They say you can get these for like 40, 50 bucks. I don't know if you can, and if you do, I don't know how good they are, but that's the one I have. I've had it for a long time. So right about 1740 is what I'm running at. So 1740 times 2 puts me at 3480. And they say that this machine should be running, according to the manual, it says that this engine should be running between 3200 and 3500 RPMs just running, which will bring it to right around 3,000 RPMs under load when the blades are engaged. So I'd say the RPMs are right where they should be. I'm happy with that. So that's good enough for me as far as RPMs go. So next, we're going to mess with this baffle down here, and we're going to see if we can't get that changed back to where it should be. So, see if I can get you guys a good view. This is the baffle right here. It's coated with crap, and it goes all the way down the whole length of the deck. And this is how it bolts in. There's a bolt there. There's, I believe, 5 all the way down. And then this can go up or down. And there's a bunch of different settings. Now, there's 2 holes on the baffle itself, and they're called A and B in the manual. But on the deck itself, there's 4 holes, and they're staggered. So depending on where you put it on the baffle, A or B, and then hole 1, 2, 3, or 4, whichever one you put it at, it changes the level of where the baffle is mounted at. Now, in my experience, I believe I put it all the way down on the lowest one for when I'm bagging leaves to avoid the blowout. but in the summertime, I'm pretty sure I used to raise it up. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna raise it up and we'll mow with it and we'll see how it does. But I think that's gonna help out big time. Okay, so I figure since I have it out, I'll show you guys. This is the baffle. These are the 2 slots I was talking about. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. This is the inside of the baffle, and that's just what it looks like. To adjust it up or down. And then you look underneath the machine here, and you can see there's the 4 holes that I meant that are staggered. Okay, and that spacer goes right underneath here all the way down. See? And it goes on the inside of the deck. Okay? And then the bolts come through the front, through the face of it, right into those holes. If I can show you them holes, right there. Okay, so the RPMs are where they should be. The baffle is moved on there. I fixed the power chute because it was bent up, and no big deal, just bent it right back. I didn't take the weight bar off the front because in order to take it off, I got to undo them 2 bolts on both sides. When you do that, the whole front forks come off the mower. So I didn't feel like messing with that. It's not that big a deal. I could just take this bar off, but I'm afraid Max and Billy are going to ram these arms into something and bend them up. I mean, it is 1/2-inch thick steel, so you would think they wouldn't be able to bend them up, but who knows? I just don't know that I want to go messing with that. I might take it off anyway. I did take this back whole plate off that went the whole length and come out like way back here. I'm not going to take that off because then I got to take that one out of there, take that off, take the spring off, mess with all that. I really don't feel like messing with it. Plus there's another big bolt that's in there. I'd have to pull this plate off and get that one out. This one here is tucked out of the way, and it's has like 6 bolts in it. It's secure enough. That thing ain't going anywhere. That one's not going anywhere. Hopefully they won't whack their legs off of this. I don't know, but the big part of it's out of the way. So this one's done. Now to find out what's wrong with that thing. All right, let's see if I can show this to you guys. It's just a tensioner pulley, and it's going up and down. It's not too bad, but it's got some play in it, which tells me the bearing in it is shot. So I think that might be my issue right there. Just a tensioner pulley, no big deal. And just to clarify that, so the 3,700 RPMs, it should be 1850 would be the half. Like I mentioned earlier, you break it in half. And on this one, like I was saying, a lot of the Briggs & Stratton engines, they have a screw right here, and it's spring-loaded, and you crank that. A lot of the Kohlers, different Kohlers have a big flat cover there. It says Kohler on the front, and to the right there's a hole in it. The screw is through there. A lot of the Kawasaki engines have a screw that's pretty much straight down on top of the carburetor. For this 25 horse, can you see that right there? Okay, it's a 10 millimeter nut, and it goes all the way down. Your throttle cable here connects to it. It's the same thing. Clockwise to increase RPM, counterclockwise to decrease RPM. So, like I said, it's 3,700 RPM is where this thing should be. So 1,850 would be half. Like I said, EFI engines on your tach meter, you just double the number. So right now it's set exactly where it should be. So it's Thursday. We didn't film anything yesterday. We rushed all day, didn't have time to film. But Max and I took a little road trip this morning. That's a beautiful cut. Cut really nice. What did I cut it with? A V-Ride 1. That's what I cut it with. And here comes Max on the V-Ride 2. So we'll talk about this thing a little bit more, but let's get some footage first. Okay, so here she is, the V-Ride 1. I did end up making that trade, obviously, for the 36, but this thing has some issues, and I knew that, so it's not a big deal. It used to be a light here. I thought it was aftermarket, but I'm thinking it's kind of a Skag thing because there's a mount right there. We're going to send that to voicemail. Okay, so there's a mount right there that it goes into, and then the mount for the toggle. It all looks like it's Skag, so, but either way, they broke the light out of it, so we'll probably get rid of that. But it has, the tires are really, really low, and there's like 4 plugs in that one alone. So we got some brand new tires right there. Max is going to change out. There is a hydro leak. The lines are wet down on this side over here, and I noticed the line was leaking off the bottom of the hydro cooler right there. I tightened that one up while we were out mowing, but it still has a lag. Like sometimes when you push the controls forward, it kind of makes a grinding like it would if the brakes were on. I'm hoping that it's just a leak in line and it's sucking air in. I did get a new hydro filter and fluid, but I took this panel off back here, and the 2 wheel motors are there, and the hydro filter is there, and it was so packed you couldn't see the wheel motors, the hydro filter, nothing. It was so packed with sticks, grass, dirt, everything. I cleaned it out the best I could while we were out mowing. It does have an issue. Every once in a while you turn the key. Every once in a while you turn the key and it doesn't do anything. Sometimes if you take it from the neutral to drive back and forth a couple times, it'll start. Sometimes if you take PTO on and off, it'll start. I don't know if the PTO switch is bad. We do have spares. Or if there's a safety, like a plunger switch like there is for this brake here. There's another one under that drive control, and there's another one under the pedestal. We will fix those. But other than that, it cuts awesome and it runs great. So we got work to do on this. Okay, so the V-Ride 2, we think we have the hydro issue figured out to where it's not grinding anymore when you're driving. Not positive on that, but we're pretty sure. Drove around the shop in here a little bit last night, and it felt good. Max got these tires swapped out, so we got brand new tread tires on here. We did a hydro flush. The hydro fluid that came out was black. Hydro fluid should never be black. It's not like motor oil. It doesn't turn black. It gets a little bit darker than the light tan or light brown color that it comes out brand new. But we did use the Skag Hydro Drive. It's 2050 full synthetic is what they recommend for these. We got from the dealer. Put a new Skag 10 micron hydro filter, which is what this calls for. We put a new hydro drive belt on it. We re-leveled the deck. It was way off, like almost 3/4 of an inch off. We took off that light mount that was on there. Well, the mounts are still on there, but we took that light off, got that out of there, readjusted the RPMs, which I need to toy with a little bit more this morning. We put brand new blades on it. So this thing should be good to go. Should be. But what we did get in, I was talking to Will Rice from Will's Lawn Care, and he runs nothing but Skags. He's got V-Ride 2, plus he has V-Ride 1. And he says, get yourself these spacer kits. And he said it'll extend your wheels out a little more, like how the grandstand is. That's why that thing holds hills so well. He said, get these spacer kits. So I ordered a 2-pack of them. They came in yesterday, and it was like $90 on eBay for this 2-pack kit. And they're made by Max Motorsports. Max Motorsports. They're made by Max Motorsports. So real quick this morning before we get started here, we're going to pop the wheels off that, put the spacers on there, and then we're going to pop the wheels off the V-Ride 2, put the spacers on there, and we should be good to go. So it'll make a better stance on both these mowers. The V-Ride 2 already handles hills very well. Not as good as the Grandstand or the Exmark Vantage, but it does very well. This will, according to Will, this will make it only better. So real super simple. You just pop the 4 lugs off there, and you put the spacer on over top of the 4 studs and use the original lug nuts to hold it in place. And then you put the wheel over top of these 4 studs and use these lug nuts they sent with it to bolt your wheel on. So very simple, real easy. That's what we're going to do this morning, and then we'll get on with this day. So the Skag's nice and fat in the back end now. Nice, much wider stance. It's in from the deck right there. And it's in from the deck right there, a couple inches. And This sucker here, pull our little flappy out there. That one's definitely wider. So, and these tires are shorter but wider than the V-Ride 2. That's one of the things they changed up. So, this should be nice.
Another week down.
Another week down. It's a hot one, but we do have 3 lawns we got to go mow tomorrow because one of my properties I do every Friday, the lady decided to have these people that she has mulch and trim her bushes every year. She scheduled them to come today. And so they have crap all over the yard and we can't mow it, so
go figure.
No big deal. We'll mow that tomorrow. We have 2 other ones that are Thursday lawns, and even though today is Friday, they'll be getting cut tomorrow. But it's been like that a couple weeks this year because there's so much construction going on in the area, and it's at the end of a turnaround, a dead end. And they have piles of stone, payloaders, backhoes, dump trucks. They got everything freaking clogging up the whole area, and we can't go down there. We can't turn around. We can't even, today we couldn't even get on the street, but yesterday all the equipment was there, and we figured that we just go today. We go there today, and today they're paving the freaking road. So.
Looks like tomorrow it is.
They don't work weekends, so I'm state workers. So,
shit, they barely work during the week.
Yeah, you ain't shitting there, boy. So we'll do it tomorrow. We were here till like 9 o'clock last night. Working on mowers, drinking beer.
Yeah.
Finally, we'd spent so long on that new Skag that I was like, Max, here's $20. Go around the corner of the store. Get a 12-pack Ultra, come back. He's like, all right, no problem. He went and washed up, grabbed it, came back, and yeah. So I'm loving that Skag. The thing, it's so nice to ride, so fun. It cuts like a dream. God, that thing cuts great. And it dispenses grass beautifully. It cleans up like there's no tomorrow. Like I cut a lawn today that was so bad, and I cut it 3 1/4. I bumped it 3 1/2, went over it, clean. Did a great job. I did find, you guys know how I've said in a million videos, I run high lift short tails on almost everything. These Skag Velocity Plus decks seem to do, I've tried every blade combination I can. They seem to do the best with Skag, Marbain, whatever the hell it's called. It's the material it's made of, the type of steel. But Marbain blades, just the Skag, OEM, they're like a low to medium lift blade. I have them now, brand new sets on both V-Rides, and those things are cutting way better than they used to.
Yeah,
so
putting stripes in yards like highlighters.
Yeah, it's definitely striping like no tomorrow. It's not leaving any grass sticking up anywhere, any stragglers, nothing like that. It's helping to clean up. It's dispensing great out of the decks. I did say a couple weeks ago when I said I'm gonna do week in review videos, 1 video a week, I did say that I would do the occasional pop-up video if something I thought would make a good video come up. So I'm probably going to film it tomorrow if I have time, but I'm gonna set up both V-Rides right here in the shop tomorrow, and we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison. I'm gonna go over some features on the V-Ride 1 to the V-Ride 2, what's different about each one. A lot of people have asked in the past, and I've seen people question on videos, and nobody's really made a video showing the 2 machines side by side and comparing them, and showing what this one has and what they changed when they made the V-Ride 2. Some things they changed for the better, and some things I don't think they should have changed. They should have left it alone. But I'll do that maybe tomorrow. I'll film that one, and that'll just be a pop-up video. But yeah, there still is a little bit of grinding. We put the new tires on the V-Ride 2 yesterday. We did those wheel spacer kits. Definitely different.
So much different.
Yeah, definitely different. I knew they'd make a little difference, but I didn't think that much. When you get to the end of the pass, you're slowing down the turn. It's not sliding at all. You're not getting a little bit of slip, nothing. It's just gripping and going, but it's not tearing up grass. I mowed a hill today that I usually only cut with the X marker, the Toro. I never put the Skag on. The Skag does all right, but it likes to slide a lot. Didn't slide at all in the hill. One little spot, and it's because the machine shut off, and I thought we ran out of gas on it. Come to find out, the fuel switch, probably when we were going under a tree or something, it like half turned off, so the fuel was half shut off. So I started to slide a little there, but other than that, it did great on the hill. But that V-Ride 1, it's getting a little bit of grinding. Like when you get to the end of a pass and you slow down, you go turn, when you back up, and then when you go take off, there's like a grinding, and it feels like a wheel motor on the right-hand side. But we did put a new hydro drive belt on it yesterday. We flushed the hydro system, put a new hydro filter, cleaned all the grease and everything off the pulleys. I felt the pulleys yesterday. Only one, the idler pulley, had a little bit of play in it, nothing bad. I do have 2 spares over there. I might change that out next, but I'm praying I don't have to put a wheel motor on the right-hand side of that thing. If I do, it's like $700-800. The machine is definitely worth it. So if I do, I do, but I'm praying I don't. So we'll find out. We'll see what happens. But
Hey, for all we know, it could free up in about a week.
yeah, you know what? I think the machine sat more than anything. I don't think the guy really ran it. I'm going to run it for another week the way it is, and I'm going to dump that hydro fluid out again and put a new filter on. The filter I took off was heavy. Definitely a lot of crap in it. The hydro fluid was black. It should not have been black. So I'm just wondering if it, you know, it's been sitting forever. It hasn't been run. I don't know. Maybe it freaking gummed up in the hydro system, but I don't know. The left side seems to be fine. It all seems to be coming from the right-hand side. I don't think the hydro pump is bad. The hydro pump seems fine. I definitely think it's the wheel motor, but
Yeah. We haven't lost any responsiveness from it.
no, it still flies. It still cruises. It does great. It comes right up out of a ditch when I'm down in a ditch mowing. It goes up hills just fine, but that's when you're going up hills, you're coming up out of a ditch, you really feel the grinding. It's like, it almost feels like when you have the brake on and the steel flaps are down in the tires, if you try to go a little bit and you forgot to release the brake, if anybody knows what I mean, that's exactly what it feels like. Exactly what it feels like. And it's all from the right-hand side. So, I don't know. Bad wheel motor.
Yeah.
I mean, just in my experience, I could be wrong. I've been wrong more times than I've been right, but in my experience, that's a wheel motor. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll run it for another week and see what happens. It's not like if it goes down, I don't have 2 backups sitting right there. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But that's it. That's it for this week. Like I said, watch for that video where I do the comparison side by side. That'll be up within the next day or 2. I'll get that filmed. That'll be a quick video. But another week down. I have you every day next week, don't I?
Yes, sir.
Hot damn!